complaining about the Department of Justice, saying there's been absolute, silence to its request for documents in the case, while, Trump makes a request and all of a sudden all these documents appear. Let's listen to Michael Cohen on the documents.
Those documents belong to the people, and they should have been released under FOIA, because I'll tell you what those documents are going to show. It's going to show that Donald Trump, through a willing and complicit, bloviated attorney general, went ahead, weaponized the United States Department of Justice, and unconstitutionally remanded a United States citizen.
Does he have a point?
There is a point. There is a point, is that Donald Trump has gotten treated differently by the law than average citizens like Michael Cohen, that Donald Trump was in a position to use his own attorney general, possibly to intimidate or silence a potential witness. Those are real things. That's been one of the problems with Trump as the nation's chief law enforcement official and Donald Trump as president. Michael Cohen, I think has to be taken with a grain of salt when he's talking about what documents are out there and how incriminating they might be. But of course he has a point. And I think some of this is going to come home to roost in the DA's prosecution. You mentioned at the top of the show about Trump that he broke. He's dumb, and what we found out over the last week, particularly this cash situation, right? Under oath a year ago, he says, I have $400 million and I'm adding to it monthly. And then suddenly you come up to this judgment and he said, actually, I don't have it. And then, as Andrew has repeatedly pointed out, and I've noted, he then takes to social media and said, actually, I have $500 million. That had to make his attorneys pull their hair out. And it's because he is ignorant and unsophisticated, and he is not a good person to now have in a courtroom where he's going to be put on the stand and held accountable for a fact pattern. In this particular case, there's a tape recording of him directing Michael Cohen to get the money from his CFO so they could pay hush money. When he's on the stand, he doesn't stick to the script. He tends to brag and bloviate, and that's going to hound them during this court proceeding. They have to be worried about that. I
just want to come back to the point that you made at the top, Andrew, which is none of this is normal, right? So as if it were not normal that you have a former president who has a multi-million-dollar judgment that he's got to come up with, and he's out there saying, I got the money, and he has lawyers saying, no, he doesn't. You then layer onto it the Bragg case, which is, yes, we often talk about it as the hush money case so as to differentiate it from the other election interference cases, but it's fundamentally an election interference case. We talk about the schedules colliding. We are watching tomorrow in real time the way that all of this is coming into focus at the same time.
So just remember, the judgment is as a result of fraud that's been found by the judge. The criminal case that we're talking about the schedule of is also about false business records. And just remember, and about a plan that was a catch and kill with a media outfit that was being partisan and was helping one political candidate. And that was all part of the scheme that's alleged there. So it's more fraud, but with a media outfit trying to help him win the election. And we have somebody who is also paid $95 million in a bond for sexual assault and repeated defamation. As Nancy Pelosi says, this is somebody you wouldn't allow in your house and is the leading candidate for the presidency, which is a real sign of where we are as a country.
Andrew and Tim.